I'm always paranoid about that, someone's going to knock on the door or there's going to be
Well, listen, I have a newborn, so anything could go on here. We have to be prepared for all things. It's like, yeah.
brilliant. So, do you know what? The first thing I always ask when even anybody has anything related to Ireland is the fact that when you were over here, where did you go? What did you do?
Right.
And were people nosy? Because
Listen, my experience is very different, because we shot the film at the start, at the peak and height of COVID. So I ended up getting to Dublin early, early, early in the morning from Los Angeles. I got into a unsuspecting van and I got whisked away to Roscommon in the middle of the country. Um, and they sort of shoved me into a amazing little cottage where I quarantined for 2 weeks by myself. I couldn't leave.
wow.
So I really kind of hunkered down in this really cute cottage, where we actually ended up filming just below where we filmed at the house in Castlereagh, and I couldn't leave, so I was getting groceries from the producers and at my front door, and I was having no interaction or contact with anyone. And the entire time we filmed the movie in 7 weeks, I didn't even get to go to a pub. Like it's a crime. It's a crime. Now listen, I did sneak some Guinness, but that was another point. But that I didn't get to actually physically go into a pub. And so yeah, it was really all about filming the movie and just praying that we could get through, because at that point there was no vaccines, and if anyone caught COVID, we would be shut down. So the fact that we got to continue and we made it through to the end is just kind of a miracle and amazing and a testament to our crew. But yeah, not the stories I wish I could be telling you right now.
Is that weird, like looking back, thinking, of other movies that you've shot throughout the years that you're going, you were in a cottage, you had 7 weeks, and there was like a movie in itself, and the fact that, bundled in straight down to Roscommon.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that weird? Did you ever
No,
think like,
I was a little nervous. Like, I was nervous to be like, how am I gonna go from this like hectic, crazy life in Los Angeles to then all of a sudden, this is like The Holiday, the film The Holiday. The only thing missing was Jude Law knocking at my door. So I was like, this is crazy. I was making my own fires every night in this cottage. I was working on my script for 2 weeks prior to filming. I got to have uninterrupted time to myself to focus in and work with the director sort of over FaceTime. We had our first read through on FaceTime, or on Zoom, I should say. And it was just, actually looking back on it now, feels like such a blessing in a way, because it was just uninterrupted quality time in the middle of the countryside. Like I don't know if I could ever or will ever get to do that again.
I watched the movie, and the first thing I always notice, the kids are always, I'm
I
like,
know.
oh God. It's always the good start to it. I was like, something's gonna happen here.
Yeah. It's always those house horrors that you go, "Why are they buying this house? It looks scary already. Why are the kids going into the cellar?" But the amazing thing about my character, and when I watched the film, and I didn't have those moments of saying to my character on screen, "Don't go down there," because she's really going after to save her child. And I think any parent would know the feeling of wanting to do anything to protect their children. So there was a realness and a groundedness in that didn't make it hokey. It made it really real, and there was a really great build to that. And so when it was, Kira's turn to sort of face all the fears and get down into the cellar and find her children, um, it made a lot of sense to me, and I felt like I believed every second of it.
Did you get to walk around the house, a couple of days
Yeah.
before the actual shoot? Was there a time where you're walking around going, hang on, this house is actually creepy? Like, we don't
Well,
need.
I will say the house itself, I felt like Owen Mackin has a different experience. You can talk to him about that. He thinks the whole thing's haunted. I actually thought the house was charming and I absolutely loved it. I would stay there again and again and again. The only thing that I did find very strange is right when we started filming, I believe it was the night before we started filming after the 2 weeks of quarantine. Brendan and Owen and myself, in all three of our separate cottages we were quarantining, ended up with a insane amount of dead flies in our cottage. And there was no explanation, because it was cold, it was not fly season, but they think maybe there was a little reasoning in that maybe when we got in there, they hadn't been occupied in a while. When we turned the heat on, maybe all the flies were in the. But I was just like, this is really creepy to have like this plague of dead flies. Like we're talking thousands of flies.
It's
Really
like you're
close.
being punked. You're waiting for Ashton Kutcher to walk out of a room and go, "This is happening."
I know, I know. So that was really creepy and really scary. But the house itself, I did walk around and was fascinated by the history of it and some of the artifacts that were actually there that they had to sort of keep away. I mean, some of the first flags of Ireland and like one of the first like ever harps, like really cool stuff to see and really amazing paintings and things like that.
I have often found that, Ireland is very untapped when it comes to horror movies because, we're mystical, we're
Oh
magical,
yeah.
we're green, we can be dark and all that. Did you find when you were around there in Roscommon that, whoa, this is like an untapped land of
Well,
horror
I just
movies?
felt yeah, I mean, it really did evoke a lot of the mood that we wanted. And it's funny in Ireland, obviously they say it rains a lot, but what I told my mom, which I thought was really interesting, is that it rains, but there's so many variations of rain. So it's actually interesting. Like some days it's like horizontal rain, some days it's a misty, moody rain, some days it's just like pelting down in a furious rage. But there was something really whimsical and in the evening somewhat spooky too. So yeah, I think to film there is genius for this and for a lot of different films. I mean, the countryside is so exquisite and Galway too. I mean, to see the coast and all that. I mean, there's just it's so untapped. Like you said, there's so much you can film. I mean, the country is a story in itself, a character in a film in itself.
I'm working with Owen. He's great, isn't he? I hope he gave you guys like a good time of what an Irish person is chatting and all that.
Yeah, we had a lot of walks and things like that because we were like I said, we were hunkered down in this bubble. There was no leaving or going to restaurants or anything like that. So it was a lot of walks and a lot of storytelling and in true beautiful Irish fashion, he had a lot of great stories to tell.
Did you watch any Irish TV while you were stuck in that cottage for seven
Yeah.
weeks?
Yes. Okay, so we were coming up towards the holidays and there was this really cool show for the kids where they talk about all the new toys. What is it called?
The Late Late Toy Show.
The Late Late Toy Show. It was fantastic. Now, I know you guys are all used to it and could care less maybe, but it was the first time seeing it and I said to Owen, I said, "You got to explain this to me. What is this fantastical thing where all these kids come out?" And he explains all the toys. She goes, "Oh, I watched that as a kid." And I said, "Well, I wish Canada had that because that is so fun." I was glued. I was glued, and I found out it was a big tradition. So yeah, really glad I got to see that while I was there. It was really neat.
Amazing. And I think Ryan Tuberty and everyone would be delighted that you are giving it the A plus as well,
Oh, A
because
plus, A plus. Loved it.
amazing. Alicia, thank you so much for today and best of luck with the movie.
Thank you.
Thank you.